Episode 1. A pair of deft hands danced across the keyboard and mouse, their rhythmic clicks like a sprightly tune. A myriad of lights flashed across the screen as his opponent fell, blood blossoming in the air. Yi Chu smiled, plucking the cigarette that had been idling from the corner of his mouth. A long, silvery ash had formed, yet not a single flake had shaken loose during his furious mouse-wielding and keyboard-pounding maneuvers. He quickly snuffed out the cigarette in a strangely shaped ashtray on the desk. Yi Chu's hands flew back to the keyboard, ready to say something to his opponent, when the door was slammed open with a bang. Was shoved open with a bang. Yi Chu didn't turn around, as if he'd been waiting for this moment all along. He simply asked,
"Here?"
I'm here.
Su Mucheng's reply was just as simple.
"Let's go."
Yi Chu declined his opponent's latest challenge. He gently removed the card from the Glory login device, stood up and walked to the door, grabbing his coat from the rack on his way out. The night was deep, yet the Excellent Era clubhouse remained brightly lit. Yi Chu and Su Mucheng left the room, walking all the way to the end of the corridor. It was a spacious conference room. Upon entering, one's eyes were immediately drawn to a massive electronic display that took up nearly an entire wall. It showed the Glory Pro League standings and various technical statistics. On the rankings display, Excellent Era team sat in 19th place overall, second from the bottom. For a championship team that had once achieved a three-peat, this ranking was a glaring disgrace. Now it hung on the wall, glaringly bright, as if mocking them all with cold indifference. Yet the atmosphere in the room was anything but heavy. On the contrary, it was quite lively. The Excellent Era players were gathered around one person like stars circling the moon. When Yi Chu entered the meeting room, they ignored him entirely. Any glances that did flick his way were filled with nothing but cold indifference and scorn.
Yi Chu, the club has decided that Sun Xiang, who's just transferred back, will take over your position as captain. One Autumn Leaf will also be piloted by Sun Xiang from now on.
The club manager turned as Yi Chu entered. There was no prior discussion, no attempt to soften the blow, just a cold, direct notification, delivered as callously as discarding a used tissue. Su Mucheng opened her mouth to speak, but Yi Chu gently held her back. He shook his head with a faint smile, showing he didn't mind.
"Sorry, Brother Ye, for taking your seat right off the bat."
The first seat on the left side of the conference table was the exclusive spot for the captain of Excellent Era team. That seat should have belonged to Yi Chu. Sun Xiang sat there with an air of casual arrogance, making his declaration without so much as a glance in Yi Chu's direction. It wasn't mere indifference, it was outright dismissal. His gaze lingered more on Su Mucheng, who had entered alongside Yi Chu. To be fair, Su Mucheng was indeed more eye-catching than Yi Chu. She was hailed as the #1 beauty in the Glory Pro Alliance. Even outside this circle, thrown into the glamorous entertainment industry, she would still be a rare and stunning beauty. Even Su Mucheng's teammates on Excellent Era, who saw her every day, couldn't help but stare for a moment when she walked in. But they quickly snapped out of it, finding a far more compelling figure to focus on.
Brother Xiang, you're too kind. This position is perfect for you.
Snapping back to reality, the others quickly jumped in to finish the line.
That's right. Some people are just getting old, past their prime.
Lord Grimm should really be piloted by you, Brother Xiang. Only then can the battle god's true power be unleashed.
This was the focal point of everyone's attention. Sun Xiang, a new generation genius-level player in the Glory Pro Alliance, secured the Rookie King title in his debut year. His individual stats were on par with that season's MVP. This season, Sun Xiang led the mediocre Yueyun team to 8th place in the league, with a solid shot at the playoffs. Yet, he transferred mid-season to the struggling Excellent Era club. The reason? Excellent Era, despite its dismal record, possessed the Battle Mage account known throughout the Glory Online world as the Battle God. The Battle Mage, One Autumn Leaf. Though this young man had been in the Alliance for less than 2 years, the Excellent Era players shamelessly called him brother. It was clear they already saw Sun Xiang as the future leader of their team. Sun Xiang soaked up the flattery with obvious pleasure. Finally, he deigned to glance at Yi Chu, his eyes brimming with contempt.
Yi Chu, hand over the One Autumn Leaf account card to Sun Xiang.
The club manager said. Even Yi Chu, for all his carefree spirit, couldn't help but feel a pang in his heart. Yi Chu, One Autumn Leaf. The name alone tells you the connection between the account and the man. This was the very account he created when he first entered the world of Glory, 10 years For a full decade, this account had been by Ye Chua's side. The rookie of those days had become a master, hailed as the living textbook of glory. The fledgling battle mage of those days had become the battle god, a name that resounded far and wide across the game. However, 7 years ago, when he entered the professional scene and signed the contract with the club, ownership of One Autumn Leaf was transferred to the club. Ye Chu had long known this day of parting would come, and now it was finally here. Ye Chua's fingers trembled slightly. For a pro player, steady hands were a must. Yet here was Ye Chu, a veteran whose mental fortitude was rock solid, shaking. Su Mucheng turned her head away. She couldn't bear to watch, yet she was powerless to stop it. Amidst the crowd's gleeful stares, the silver account card for One Autumn Leaf was handed to Sun Shang. Sun Shang's eyes gleamed with excitement and greed. He had willingly transferred to the now faltering Excellent Era Club for one reason. It possessed the top-tier account, One Autumn Leaf. Ye Chu, the original master of One Autumn Leaf, had been underperforming for years, clashing constantly with the club. Sun Shang was 100% confident he could take his place.
Got it!
The moment Sun Xiang caught the account card, a surge of excitement hit him. Yet, from the card itself, he felt a faint resistance. Sensing Ye Chu's reluctance, Sun Xiang gave a proud smile and said,
Ha! Let go, Brother Ye. Look at your hands trembling like that. How can a pair of hands like that unleash the true power of the battle god? Let me take over. I'll make the battle god's name resound throughout glory once more.
You're retired.
The moment the words left his lips, Sun Xiang saw a sudden sharpness flash in Ye Chu's eyes that had been utterly indifferent, showing only a flicker of reluctance when he handed over One Autumn Leaf. To his shock, he discovered that Ye Chu's hands, which had been trembling slightly, suddenly became perfectly steady.
Do you love this game?
Ye Chu suddenly looked directly at Sun Shang and asked,
What?
Sun Shang was taken aback.
If you truly love it, treat it as glory, not as a show.